So, you're looking for a fight, a little Street Fighter Gold? Yes, okay. Come at me, shirtless guy. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Yes, you've tried, but I'm coming back at you. A little kick there. How about a Daio Chagi? I believe is the pronunciation of the Taekwondo. Mid form that I'm using right there, and a fake Hidoken. Look out! A little Dawson, a little Yoga Fire. No. How about this? I transition to Mortal Kombat and finish him. Yes, no, maybe. I guess we're waiting for round two. Yes.
What the hell was that?
I love impersonations, man. I just love them. I find them too funny. Have you not seen that video, Samurai?
No, I've never seen it.
It's not really Jeff Goldblum. It's just
Of
a
course.
guy who kind of looks like Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, it's been making the rounds, and some clever person called Frank Caliendo has done a little impersonation there. Why do I find impersonations so funny? They get me into trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better be careful here.
Who have we got here? Largo's just popped in. How Largo, how you going? Celtic Neutral is here. He's talking about a game he loves. Obviously, we've got the one and onlys, Poland and Blue Samurai. How you going?
Hello.
Guys?
We're doing well.
Hail the chat.
Gothic Arch was here earlier. He's talking about the topic of this show, which is Comicsgate. We're culting wrong. Do you know that, guys?
Oh.
We're failing as a cult.
And I try so hard.
Yeah.
We got the cult together. Cult gang.
We're not doing it right. And someone has come along to tell us, to point out our foibles. Can you guess who that might be? Who would want to point out Comicsgate foibles?
Oh, like half the planet, I guess. I don't know. A third of Twitter?
It's our old friend, Preston
Yes.
Poulter, Pocket Jack's Comics. He's back.
Everyone's favorite.
Well, he never left. That's funny. He did leave, but he never left. We got some more people here. William's here. Hal, William, how you going? Johnny Rando's here. Hal, the mother in chat. Hell yeah. Robert, you didn't get your hoodie robe? Oh, we'll have to check with the Grandmaster about that and make sure you get yours sent out, because we definitely don't want to be caught without our matching robes in Comicsgate. Yeah, I did say culting William. Yes. So what's Preston been up to? Ethan was tweeting about how great his comic production model was, but not everyone seems convinced in Comicsgate.
Oh, look at that tweet underneath there. Look at that reply. Who's
I know.
that?
You should read that out. It'd be like an audiobook. Read it out
All right.
now, and then we'll watch the video.
My reply or what Ethan said?
Yours.
The great thing about Comicsgate is that the creators have the freedom to conduct their campaigns as they see fit. The customers will be the ultimate arbiters if they are doing it right. I think Ethan's reception to customer feedback has been unparalleled.
So what you're saying is you hate Ethan and you're leaving the cult. Is that right?
That's correct. I have shaken the stupor of cultdom.
Callaway's here. Never fear. Yeah. Thanks for showing up, Callaway. And Felix is here. Our brother. And
Hail Felix.
well, Shane, what's going on is Preston has figured out that we are a cult, and now he's finding cracks in our armor, and he's gonna highlight this. He's found this piece of evidence, so we're gonna play it now. And you guys, let me know if you can hear it. Have I got the sound on?
I really want the stuff that all the guys have to be like collector edition cool
This
stuff.
is our
I
boy
think that's
Liam
the
Gray.
right way to go about this myself. Like what Gat did with Vestige, where it's like, we're never printing this cover again. This is the EBS covers. That's what you get. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Malin puts out Born, once the campaign's over, you close it. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I like how Malin does that actually.
Yeah,
It makes it a collector's item when you do that. So it's good for the collectors. I like that.
That's the thing. That's the thing, man. Like, people are saying, "Oh, you get a whole bunch."
Here comes the rift.
and sell more on the secondary market. It's like, that's kind of not fair, isn't it? You got all these people that are sort of invested in me. There are probably people that bought extra copies so they could sell them secondhand. It's kind of a bit sort of a dick move of me to go like, this is a limited time on Indiegogo, buy Xenotype today. Also, you can buy it for the rest of the year. It's all good. It's just have it, like I sort of want the customer to be able to sort of go, hey, look, I got this one. I'll sell it to someone who didn't get it, and that'll pay for my copy. And so I'm sort of recouped for investing in Liam and Conquest because customer first, brother. Customer first.
I think he was going to finish that with first. I'm just guessing at that.
Yeah, I think first is where that was going.
I don't think we care about our customer fur. No.
No. That's a nice pine tree or something like that, or fir. Yeah. So clearly, Liam has diverged, and he's out of Comicsgate. Comicsgate is all going to fracture now. Clearly, there's discontent in the ranks, or is our boy Poland here right? That maybe, just maybe, we are all individuals and we can think for ourselves and decide for ourselves the best way to promote and sell our books. What do you guys think?
Well, I have to say I am with Poland for multiple reasons, but what's his name? Liam makes a few good points.
You'd be the first one, Blue. France wasn't with us. Russia wasn't with us. Germany certainly wasn't with us, so I'm glad I have you.
Dude, it's the kielbasa. All right, you're never going to lose me. So he's got a point, though, that he thinks respecting the customers is to do things a certain way, but we give each other, or should give each other, freedom enough that if Mayland thinks it respects the customers to do it another way, then he's doing that as well. If that means keep it as a collectible item by really limiting to that 60 days and you're done, then he's respecting the customers by it being a collectible item. And as opposed to people who say, well, we're closing out tonight, even though I'm going in demand. We're closing out tonight, big excitement. It is nice to have the excitement. It's fun. It's all part of the game, like we talked about last night. But we can all see a way to respect the customer. So each is doing it slightly differently.
You sound like you have some thoughts, Poland.
Oh, well, just I guess add on to what I said is that, I've backed both John and Ethan. And obviously they're on a little bit different sides of this. John's campaigns are really exclusive. He said himself that he wants them to be like events, like little holidays, much like you would look forward to Christmas, maybe with a little less reverence, I should say. But, they are exciting. And Ethan wants his books to be in as many hands as he can be, so people can enjoy his story and continue to, experience it. And I think both are valid. And I've supported both, so really, it doesn't make too much a difference to me at this juncture. But I'm just glad that people are reading these books because they're both fantastic projects.
Wait a minute. What you guys are saying here, it sounds like Comicsgate isn't a cult, though. Is that what I'm hearing right? It isn't a cult.
Well, Liam is definitely outside of it because Ethan referred to him as the citrus fruit in the hoodie. So I think he's out.
He is out then. If Ethan decrees that you are a citrus fruit in a hoodie, then you are out and you can no longer be involved in anything Comicsgate ever again.
Yeah,
apparently, that's how it works.
He spoke out against Caesar.
Yeah. This is the latest knife in the back from Liam Gray. This is an exclusive here. You're seeing it first. Here's our boy Smiling Bandito. What are you arguing exactly? Because there are 750,000 plus arguments against it. And Preston says, simple, that Ethan consistently extracts as much money as he can from his backers and provides little in long-term value. Well, that isn't actually what you were arguing. You were talking about how Liam disagreed with Ethan's model. So yeah, there's a little bit of goalpost moving. He says here, Vicanala says, that's because unlike SJWs you like to suck up to, CG isn't a hive mind. And then he responds, you say that, and yet you ought to spend time looking at the amazing uniformity of thought that comes out of your little cult.
Yeah. And ultimately, each creator knows their project the best. So if they think a certain business model is going to reflect their project to the point where it's going to bring the most value to it, then that's what they should go with.
Yeah. Crack Croc says, no, we are a cult gang. Callaway says, at the end of the day, creators are here to make money. And if you leave it in demand for a while, you have more of a chance to make more money. If you leave it in demand, you give people a chance who missed out. Yeah. Obviously,
Yep.
there's exactly what we're hearing here. There's so many different ways to approach this. There's not just one way to skin the cat. Take a look at someone like Carlo Rowe. That guy finished out his campaign at 17K, which is amazing. Because that's a lot of money. You know, he didn't really have much of a profile back then. It was all just pretty much based on his art and how incredible the book looks and sounds.
Right.
And he's left it in demand this whole time. I don't know how late he is, but he's definitely a few months late. But anyway, that in demand period has been going this whole time, and now he's way up there. I think he's closing in on 50K.
And
17 to 50 just through in demand.
Yeah.
Well, and take Vestige. Vestige has doubled
Yep.
since it went in demand. I think it closed in the 40s, and now it's approaching 100K. So it's more than doubled to this point. And I think one of the big distinctions is that someone like John Malin, he had such a big profile early on with Jawbreakers and everything else that he has more of a luxury to be able to come in and say, don't miss out on my project because you know it's going to be good. You know, it's that whole FOMO thing that you hear a lot, fear of missing out. And that's what John leverages. But not everyone has that luxury. You know, some campaigns need as much visibility as possible, pretty much up until the point where they go to print. So if something like Vestige with a whole new creative team that's relatively untested, I think it was definitely the way to go to keep it open.
Yeah, look, obviously any sane person who isn't just taking the least charitable interpretation, which is a recurring trait that we're seeing from some people out there, especially on Twitter. Any sane person can see, you know, different strokes for different folks, and exactly what you said. It's just whatever works for your campaign. I haven't even figured out exactly how I'm going to do it. It's a little bit different for me because the in demand, you can't really run it like a store in Australia where you can, but you're going to be putting the money up yourself because you can't just be grabbing money all the time off Indiegogo, because every time you do and you want to transfer it to your bank account, they're gonna charge you $25 for each withdrawal. But if it's if you're getting backers, continuously getting backers, you know, you're raising your profile. Someone like Carl, so like Carl and the War Campaign guys as well, you know, just continuously raising their profile. New people come in. Oh, we didn't even know about this book earlier, and now we know you. We love you. We love you. We love your show. We want to buy your book. You know, it's continuously going up, and then, you know, you can take the money out every, you know, month or so to pay for the shipping, and you're just continuously sending books out. It's a model, and it makes a lot of sense to me. But then again, so do the points that Liam and say John bring up. So yeah,
I'm not in favor of pulling on people's heartstrings by playing the fear of missing out. I don't really, you know, if you see that as manipulative, or especially if you're going to use it as a manipulation, yeah, I really don't dig that. But at the same time, it's just good. You know, it can be from a totally different approach and attitude that's more innocent. Like, it's just good, clean business to say, here's what we're going to do, and that's what I have to do in order to keep everything organized so that I can provide a product, which is very different from, marketing to emotion.
Callaway brings up a really good point, which is a lot of people wait till it actually goes into in demand to buy it. And that's because a lot of people will release their book, they'll ship it out, that first, you know, batch to everyone who bought it initially, and then they'll keep the book in demand. And you'll see, this is a perfect example, Vestige. So I have not heard a single negative word on Vestige. I've seen Deadwood Dad did a great review. Poland was just talking about it earlier, saying it looks fantastic. To me, it looks like a great book. All the people involved seem, you know, really cool people and really passionate. so it's sort of jumped to the top of my list of books I need to back now, purely because of all the buzz that's surrounding it right now, because people actually have it in their hands and they can show me and tell me what it's about. I'm not a super wealthy person, so I've got to be a little bit careful about the books that I buy. And I have been, probably all of us have been burnt in the past a little bit in Comicsgate. We've backed someone who's sort of later turned out to be a bit of a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Or we felt it was a bait and switch.
Yeah. Or just the book didn't come out. So I've had both of them happen to me in Comicsgate already. So and as well, it's more expensive for me being in Australia. Got to pay more shipping, and the dollar's worth less. So these are real investments for me. I can't just be splashing my money around. So yeah, I'm actually sort of becoming a little bit more of one of those people, Kellaway, who does wait until I start seeing it in people's hands and people start raving about it. That was exactly how I bought Earthbound as well. I didn't know about the art. Like, I just didn't know. From what I'd seen, it looked kind of cool, but it's so unusual that I just wasn't sure about it. And then Zach raved about it, and then people raved about it, and now it's one of my favorite Comicsgate books. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good point.
Before I jump over onto the end of In Demand and how that parallels what Liam is saying, I just realized something strange. I pay a currency conversion fee, every time I back somebody who's not in the United States. So I've paid a currency conversion fee for you and Rob, for Red Eyes, and for someone else in Europe or Australia. I think it was Europe. So why are you getting charged $25 to make a withdrawal if they've already converted the currency?
I don't know that. I didn't know you were getting charged a conversion fee at the customer end. This is the first I've ever heard about that.
Unless that $25 is just international wire transfer, but
I haven't seen that on my end.
Okay. Interesting. Well, as far as the end of In Demand, whatever Liam is saying and what's his name, Malin have been saying, that's also true for the end of In Demand, because In Demand eventually does end, and so your rarity period that Liam was mentioning, where you essentially have to get it now, and that's what makes it rare, as opposed to get it now or later or later or later. That period does end. Only we're seeing the rise of Second Chance with leftovers and whatnot. The problem with waiting for Second Chance, I recommend not doing it, is I'm sorry. So first point is, your rarity thing is still preserved anyway at the end of In Demand. And so if somebody's taking a long time on the book, at least In Demand is still open for new customers, so you know that the new customer funding will make the book even better when it does come out, like a stretch goal. Moving to Second Chance campaigns. If we wait for a Second Chance campaign, there won't be as many books, period, because the overprint, if any, is based on the number of initial backers before it went to print. So do not hesitate and say, oh, well, I can just get it in Second Chance. No, then fewer people are going to get it on the initial print run in the first place. That run is smaller. There aren't as many leftovers. You're just going to frustrate yourself. That was it.
There's an interesting point down here. So this guy, KFC Jesus, got a cool name, says he doesn't really have a problem with collector editions as long as it's optional, but it's how comics crash and will keep crashing. The time of the collector's edition is over. I'm not sure that is really relevant to this discussion. Like, these books, just by their sheer nature, in that they're small print runs, it's the really big buzz with the campaign, and people are holding on to them by the looks of it, that they're just naturally becoming collectible. So I don't think, I think they're being sold as premium items, and people are just collecting them. I'm not seeing many people advertising, you've got to get this one. This is a real big collector's edition. I think sometimes after the fact, someone will mention it, like EVS said, we sold less of this one, so it's going to be the rarer version.
The Salamandroid one, someone always brings up. Yeah.
But I think more than anything, they just become collectible because of what they are. Not so much that people, I'm not seeing any kind of predatory collector's edition kind of things that I used to see when I was a kid, trying to collect Marvel, and they would just be gouging me and forcing me to buy a million things. But I like what Oddity says here. We have one cover that we just won't reprint. That's exclusive to backers that supported us. It's something special for those who took a chance. Well,
yeah.
That's a good idea. For me, what I'm thinking of doing, and this is purely just off the top of my head, I'm thinking I'm just going to print, whatever number I sort of get to, I'm going to probably print double. So whatever, and at the end of my campaign, whatever that number is, I'm going to print double that. And then, because we're not going to be talking thousands of books here, so being realistic, it'll be hundreds more books. And then, I'll try and figure out the in-demand and see how it all works. And if it can get all work, I probably will go into in-demand. But that will be that one cover. The cover that you see with that UV, if we get to there, that's going to be it. That cover's never going to appear on another edition. This is how I'm planning it. So if you have that cover, that's because you got in on this first round. And that round, I'm considering the campaign process and whatever in-demand happens later. But I'm just spitballing here. That's sort of my feeling. CG World Order's here. Hail, how brother? How you going, mate? CG World Order. What a great guy. So always see him out there. Yeah. They are wiggle. They are just naturally collectible. There's just something about them. And was it Zach was saying people are just not putting them on eBay very often, to the point where his original ones are going for like $100 now, which is that's sort of, I remember when I was a kid, there was a comic called Bones, and they printed so few of them, and it just got really popular that you couldn't get a copy of the first issue for less than $100 back in the day, and that was unheard of.
Yeah, and hot for the moment is not always the same as collectible, but these are just, hey, I want to hold on to this. I don't want to read it and get rid of it, like I did that stupid lesbian book about pilots in Russia that I got duped into buying and tried to read anyway. Yeah, that resold on eBay for not nearly as much as I paid for it.
Didn't EVS do a joke about that? Was that the one that he bought for like $3 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
View of Uranus. Thank you for making me read that out. I have only had 2 books that I wouldn't read again. That's an incredible percentage considering how many mainstream I put down halfway through. Well, that is fantastic news. That's really, that fills my heart with joy to know that. I've been really impressed as well. I don't have many CG books. I probably got, even though I've backed a whole bunch, it's sort of that first batch, everyone was still kind of figuring things out. So there's still a few to come. But the ones that I do have as well, I have enjoyed reading them. And they look great too. They look cool on my wall.
Yeah, I think Rob Arnold has the best outlook on this, and that is everything that we sell is a premium product, at least in the Indiegogo phase. I know that now with the Red Rooster, you have the retail version, now the eventual Indiegogo version, but even in that situation, the final product that will be the backer version is going to be a more premium product. So second chance stuff that gets reprinted, maybe in larger volumes, isn't going to be what the initial one is. And I think that's true in most cases. I don't think anyone's done a straight reprint, as far as I know.
One thing I like that I think Malin's doing, I kind of screwed up what I was saying earlier about Malin and Liam the first time I spoke, but Malin is doing something where his cover is not to be reprinted on second printings. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So Malin's, you get in that 30 or 60 days or whatever it is, and if you don't get in, you get caught. And I kicked myself because I didn't get in on that first period, even though I was there. I just didn't really know John that well at that time. Mm-hmm. So I did end up backing him on the second campaign, but they're different covers. They're not the first edition covers. So I do feel a bit like I missed out on that. So he does have a point. He does have a genuine point in the way that he's doing what he's doing.
He definitely builds up anticipation for his next campaign.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to second printings, like after Indiegogo, if Ethan is just going to print a book, eventually, it will be collect this together. Every printing does not need to have, or each printing does not need to have a separate cover. I know that they're collectible, and you might want more different covers, but at some point, that becomes the same predatory practice just as Marvel, only it's spread out sequentially over time instead of all at once. And so when we get to second printing, if it's different from the initial printing and it does what's his name? It keeps those initial printings special. It was a tweet you were showing earlier for the Indiegogo buyer. That's great. But then after Indiegogo, third, fourth, fifth printings, I think we should avoid that. just so we're not taking
I
advantage of people.
don't know. I kind of view it as I like Ethan, the way Ethan puts it, that he's doing the J.K. Rowling model, and that is how books work.
Okay.
Really, a lot of the time, like they do one printing, and then a lot of times on the second printing, they will do a different cover.
Yeah, and one thing that
Paul.
made it predatory that a lot of people discussed in terms of what Marvel does is they were forcing retailers to buy a certain number of copies to get certain covers. So they were
That's
flooding
right.
them. That's where the predatory nature comes in. In terms of us, since we have a direct channel to the creators, you really kind of remove that. So if you don't want to take a chance early and you're okay waiting for a second campaign, like I was with John, like I waited till the Andrew Huerta cover before I backed Graveyard Shift, and I got the blood bag. Because, like, you know what? I think John's proven himself by this point. I'm going to, like, double down and catch up. Even though I won't have John's cover, I still will have the stories. And I don't feel like it was really predatory towards me. When a lot of times when they discuss that, it's because the retailers were overburdened with all these books they couldn't sell because they would have to buy, like, 50 regular issues to get the one cover that they wanted for their store and to bring people in. And that's what really hurt them.
Yeah, I see where you're saying that I was putting the predatory in the wrong place. The reason I was doing that was what I had in mind was that fear of missing out, and now there's a second cover, but it's nobody says I have to buy the second printing. I've already got the first printing and the 5 covers it came with. The second printing, I can let it go. I guess is what it is. So
oh yeah, absolutely.
When you put the fear of missing out together with that, you really are just selling covers, and that's the commonality there is you're no longer selling the content, just the cover, in which case I'd rather buy a small poster or a print.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't
Yeah,
say
I hear that. The way I would think about it is what I would do is I would just sell my first edition. It would just be the first edition until it sells out. And then once that's gone, it's gone. And it's not coming back. Yeah. And if there's demand, let down the track, say I'm on the 3rd or 4th book and I'm getting a whole bunch of new people come in and they're like, we want to see the first book.
Mm-hmm.
I say, all right, well, I'll print a second edition, and it's going to have a different cover on it. It's not going to have that initial cover on it. What were you saying, Poland?
I was just going to say the highlighted comment you have. This is exactly what I was saying earlier in the stream. Everyone has to develop a model that best suits their projects and their, frankly, personality, like the way they want to go about doing their business. And if they get too far out of what's acceptable, we'll let them know by either backing them or not backing them, and they see that in the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. Where was this here? CG World Order, great point. Something else to take into consideration, Ethan's customers were the ones continuously asking for line art variants covers. It's important to pay attention to demand. Yeah, that's something that Preston Poulter doesn't have much experience with, I guess. Customers demanding en masse for certain things. And what's Ethan going to say? No, I don't want to do that because I have my idea of this, how I was going to do it. No, he's going to give the customers what they want. That seems to be his, his modus operandi. So
yeah, that's why I mentioned in the tweet that his reception, he's been very receptive to customer feedback, even when it's just, we want this, even if it's a thing he doesn't have out there. Yeah, he's like, okay, I'll do that. Like the trading cards, I'm pretty sure people ask for those. And the posters and all those sorts of things. So, anytime he sees a demand for something, he's going to do his best to meet that demand.
Yeah, and if you watch him regularly, what he'll do is he'll kind of just throw an idea out there and engage the room. And if everyone jumps on it, he'll run with it. And if they don't, he'll play with it. So people didn't really jump on the idea of the paper dolls quite as much as other things. So he kind of turned it into a joke. And that just kind of got left by the wayside. But people love the idea of the blacklight poster. And that went up. That did really well for him. I like... so Frank Raphael has pretty much, pointed out the whole nature of this discussion, which is thank you, Preston Poulter, for proving we aren't or don't have a cult mentality. Everyone has their own opinion here. And that's just sort of... That's the point. What does Cecil say? That everything that Preston does fails, and even his own tweets seem to follow that same method. Pseudonym: Ethan has earned my money. You have not. His model works for me. Now you can ignore me or respond with insults, but that won't earn my money either. And look who we have here, Phil. good for you. Or is it no? Good for you. Most people are walking away. Are you sure about that, Phil? Most people are walking away. Isn't it? It's just funny that people who have sort of broken away and become hardcore anti-Comicsgate and weird. Like I think this Phil is the dude who's harassing Peter Samedi right now, isn't he?
That's Captain
Yeah.
Cummings.
Yeah,
That's who that
Captain
is.
Cummings. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Egghead.
And just being consistently wrong, just being consistently divorced from reality. It's just bizarre. Who asked for the plushie? I don't know. Maybe people did ask for plushie, but he's thrown it out there, and
did.
I don't know. It seemed to get a pretty good response in the chat, I thought. But I don't know. Some people are into that stuff, some people aren't, and I guess when you have that much money to play around with, you can just kind of do what you want. I was thinking, the amount of tax that he would have to pay would be obscene. And why not just, you've got all this cash flow, you're not strapped for cash. Just keep investing it. Just keep putting it back. Don't give it to the government. Give it to your fans. And on a smaller level, I'm going to be doing the same thing. So I'm going to try and not make too much profit and just kind of buy Comicsgate books. As long as I've got the cash flow going, if any profit that I make, I'll be trying to invest a bunch of it back into CG, just because I want these awesome creators to have some of that money rather than the Australian federal government.
This asking for the plushie thing, I was being sarcastic when I said I did. It's cute. I agree with the person who said the feet are too small on it. They should be bigger. But
the legs seemed a bit off for me.
Yeah, but this is another good example of, because somebody came up with the idea other than himself. Somebody said it. I forget where, but that's another good example of why I was wrong about things becoming too predatory. Is somebody asked for this, and we have that nearly direct communication with Ethan, word will get around to him kind of thing, that Marvel and DC didn't have from their fans asking for specific things. And so they were just, as you pointed out with Marvel Poland, just pushing it out there and forcing it on the retailer. Instead, we do want, I appreciate some variant covers as well. We do want some, whatever the limit is for the individual, but there's that, you don't have to buy it. And so who asked for the plushie? Well, we got to ask for a plushie. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. You can talk directly to the person and ask for it, and he'll respond in real time. Alan Rogers is here. Hal, Alan, thanks for coming by, man. I'm finally going to say it. I love Ethan. I love CG. I love buying CG books, but I think Cyberfrog is dumb. Wow. I hadn't read that comment. I didn't know where you were going with it. Well, that's cool. I really love Cyberfrog. I think Cyberfrog.
I was
is cool
in that position, but Ethan sold me on it. He convinced me that I would enjoy this, and when I read it, I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it.
I loved it from the start, and from the first sort of few pages that I saw, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to enjoy this. Even though, it's not generally something that I would like. It's definitely not a story that I would ever think of writing, and it's not something that I would go out of my way to buy. But having seen it put in front of me, I knew it was always something I was going to get involved with.
What really kicked it for me was, and I already wanted Cyberfrog. I didn't think it was done, but if I'm sorry, starting at the wrong place. There are books in Comicsgate where I kind of look at them and I just say, I know everyone says this is great, but I just don't think that's for me, that particular title. So, with Cyberfrog, at least Ethan has put out there that read through he did and the commentary he did. And if somebody like was it Alan, whoever said he thinks Cyberfrog is dumb, has seen those and thinks that, it's like, okay, well, you know where you want to spend your money, and I'm glad there are other books. Try one of those. So.
It seems like the chat is on board with the plushie. So, it's probably like, if this is the vibe of CG, I'm sure it looks like it's probably going to happen.
Sometimes you don't know what you want until it's out there, right?
Yeah. Nobody asked for the decorated box that contains all the variants.
I want to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But address this one, too, because
EVS offered it. People embraced it. Hell yeah, they did.
But he did float the store folio idea ahead of time. But in terms of what was going in it, I think that's what evolved. But he did float the store folio idea, which I think is pretty cool.
Alan,
he got some feedback first.
Alan Rogers, you are out of the cult. Just kidding, man. Yeah, no, that's fine, man. That's what CG is all about, of course. And going back to what you were saying earlier, Samurai, yeah, of course. I don't like every single CG book, but I hail the people who stand up and fly the flag and put out a book. And I hail the fans who buy it and love it and share it. I mean, that's what it's all about. Like, everyone has their own personal tastes. I think the Lucent is a bit of a it's not standard comic book fare. It's not superheroes in like there's no costumes, although there will be some pretty cool fashion going forward as Ella's character. She evolves from where she starts, a bit like like how Luke Skywalker started in his kind of Tatooine sand outfit, and then later ended up as a badass Jedi in his black outfit. There's going to be a bit of that going on. Let's just say that. But it doesn't. I don't have cool gadgets and outfits and really sort of iconic silhouette characters. So, but as a first-time creator, he's just put out his book. Comicsgate seems to be embracing my story, sight unseen. So there's something for everyone here, and yeah. Delta Spurg Force Howl campaign. Yeah, man.
All right. What do we got? I'm reading the
There's
screen.
a lot of you people here. Thank you for coming. This is fantastic. We're getting like big numbers now. I don't know what's going on, but
guys,
I love it.
Come join us. With Liam being gone.
The last time we had
quota.
The last time we had and what is I took out my competition. Is that what happened?
That's right.
You're welcome.
No, definitely not. Liam's my buddy. Liam's my mate. Hail Liam Gray. Ethan mentioned making more child friendly one-shot books. Plushie might be part of the plan to draw kids in. Absolutely. My kids love the look of Cyberfrog, so they're not reading it because it's horror.
Yeah.
But they love those books. When I showed them those chromiums, they were like, "Oh, what is this?" They've never seen anything like that. Nothing.
I assume the reaction was better than the Thundercats reaction.
Yeah. If anyone has seen that video, all the Sonic the Hedgehog reaction to the old version. She has some good faces. I don't want to exploit my daughter though, so I don't like people want to see more of her because of her funny faces and her reactions. But I don't want to just like exploit her and use her to promote myself.
I have to say, Michael, I have to commend you. Her vocabulary puts some adults under the shame. So well done.
Yeah, no, she's really clever. She was beating me in memory games when she was 2. Oof. So that kind of scared me, and she's sort of she's bilingual as well. And I think bilingual kids just they get a hold on language a lot quicker than us normies who only speak one language. Sub counters has been going up every day. Thank you all the new subscribers. That's amazing. I was telling these guys earlier, when I started doing this, even just before I launched my campaign, I had a pretty small channel. Obviously this is still a small channel in the grand scheme of things, but it wasn't uncommon for me to put up a video and get not even get 20 views on it. So this is crazy, and I'm so appreciative. Like it's really awesome. And I think it's as well because we just have this great rapport, this trio here, us 3. We can hit these hard-hitting topics like what rubbish Preston Poulter and Captain Cummings are talking about on Twitter. On any given day.
We like to set the world on fire here.
That reminds me, not the rapport, but you mentioned Poulter's name. That reminded, I noticed something, the moment I saw that tweet earlier, was the money that he's accusing, the money that Ethan extracts from people. That really reveals how he thinks.
Yes, the mindset, that idea of this idea. Oh man, it's that the economy is a pie, and there's only so much to go around, and any piece that anyone takes out of that pie is taking away from someone else, and people who make money, who make big profits, they're taking money away from customers.
Forcibly, because look at the verb. It's extract. Not passive voice. Money he gets paid by customers. No. It's money he extracts. He does not have, some sort of breast pump attached to the back of my head pulling cash out. No. I voluntarily bought all, 6 covers of Cyberfrog. That was on me, not on him.
Yep.
And even though there's you can imagine a little social pressure to like, oh well, this is sort of, you got to do it. No, you don't. Not at all. I don't buy it. That was my choice to get those books. And somebody says I sound like Well-Read User 1. My voice?
It's, as far as I am aware, Samurai is not Well-Read User 1.
Well, either it's my voice or the way I'm phrasing things or an idea that I put out that was badly said and wrong earlier. So I don't know.
Samurai, is Comicsgate the fans?
As far as I know.
Then you are not Well-Read User 1.
Okay.
Yeah, CG, yeah. Hoarding money from the poor. You're exactly right. That's a good pickup. That language it really does expose the fallacy in their mindset. They're coming at this whole thing wrong, and it seems to be a recurring theme amongst these guys.
So Spirit Car, I think you've argued the opposite point on two separate things. So on the box, you were talking about that he didn't really test it that much, but he did anyways. And it worked out, which I think is true. But I think he saw less risk than that. And I think he saw the paper dolls as more of a risk. So he did float that out there ahead of time. And when it got shot down, rightfully so, he didn't do it. So it's a case by case.
Sweetcast talked a little bit on this about how he was talking actually as well about how people thought Ethan was a cult and how it's just doesn't work like that at all. Like Ethan has power in Comicsgate, but he doesn't have ultimate power and he doesn't control anyone. He just has a really big platform, a really big voice, and people listen to him, people trust him when he says things. But he can't make people do things. He can suggest that they do it. And like you said with that box, I mean, at the end of the day, Ethan is going to decide what he's going to do. He could just decide, look, like we were saying earlier, the customers don't know what they're missing out on until they see it. They're not really buying this idea just yet, but wait till they see it. And he believes in it. And he's been right most of the time, not every time in that sense. But I think he was right to kind of move along from the paper dolls things. I even partook in some jesting in the comments when he suggested that.
Yeah.
And the more he explained it, the less enticing it sounded.
Yeah, I think he knows like what things he needs to get feedback on most of the time, or more feedback, because it seems more out there. Like paper dolls, for instance, he's probably not too familiar with it, so he wants to throw it out there. It's like, is this something people would actually be interested in? The store folios, that's something that people who collect comics actually really like. So I think he saw that as a really low risk by comparison, so he didn't float that one as much and get as much feedback on. And I think it's proven to be really successful.
Okay, so Pocket Jack's responds to someone here saying, we'll jot down Liam Gray as believing that what Ethan did regarding Blood Honey was a dick move and see how long he lasts in Ethan's orbit. Well, yeah, I'm willing to bet that Liam, as long as he fulfills his campaign, which I think we all have 100% faith in Liam that will happen, especially considering how big Xenotype has gone. That as long as Liam fulfills his campaign, he will be within the orbit of Comicsgate and most likely Ethan. I mean, I can't say for sure that, everyone can have some sort of personal beef, but whatever beef they have, it wouldn't be over Liam honestly and genuinely talking about his opinions on the best way to market his own comic book.
And here's the thing. The overprint that Ethan did was on the team-up cover, not the Chromiums, not the Salamandroid covers. He did it on the most common cover. And as you print more, it gets exponentially cheaper to print those additional copies. So it really only makes sense once that printer is running. And then when you have new fans that come in, you can say, here is the plainest copy of the original book so you can get the story and then invest in my ongoing campaign for the second part. It only makes sense to me. So it really wasn't.
Smiling Bandito. No one can escape Ethan at all.
He is so big.
Yes, obviously, Smiling Bandito is referring to his sphere of influence there, and not
Right.
sphere of his
T-shirt size.
circumference of his belt buckle. Or, oh man, there was a photo. Someone posted a photo today. I think it was Smiling Bandito. Actually, was it you? Who said this is 6XL? Yeah, it was Ethan a while back. He must have been in the midst of that hell that he talks about, where you're just eating rubbish and just drawing 16 hours a day. Because he looked really big. But people are so worried about, oh my God, if you say anything wrong or you contradict Ethan, you're gonna incur his wrath. I just don't know where they're getting this from. Like,
I think to really incur Ethan's wrath takes a lot more, usually some behind the scenes and some very nefarious stuff. I mean, a minor disagreement about why to end or continue a campaign, where you're separate creators and neither controls the other. No, Ethan's not like that.
I don't think Ethan took what Liam said to even be a direct attack on him or his business model. I think it's just friendly banter between two people with slightly different philosophies.
Yeah, but did Ethan ever say? Like, you guys might be able to tell me. Did Ethan ever say, back this now in this 60-day period, because if you don't, you're never getting these books ever again? Did he ever say that?
No, he's
Because
never
that's
said that.
Kind of what Liam is talking about. Liam, to me, sounded like he's talking about, like, these are exclusive back now and only now, and then you won't be able to get them, and then you turn around and sell them on eBay. Like, I don't know. Ethan has always been 100% transparent in what his plan was for Cyberfrog.
And you say plan. Sorry.
I don't think it even applies.
I think a lot of it came about organically too, because of how I think it far surpassed his expectation in terms of success. So I think the print run on something like the team up cover just made sense to make larger at a certain point, and then say, like, I have these extra issues for later, because you're going to get new fans.
And the overprint was on all three covers, except that just because that's standard procedure for catching catching errors or damages or things like that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of those. Yeah,
but the large, you're saying the really big overprint was on the not shiny cover.
Right.
And
I'm just going to replay the audio for Gothic Arch, and anyone here who didn't hear it when we originally played it.
Now, keep in mind,
I
this
really
is
want
out of
the
context.
stuff that all the guys have to be
Yes,
like
this is a
collector
clip.
edition cool stuff. I think that's the right way to go about this myself. Like what Gat did with Vestige, where it's like, we're never printing this cover again. This is the EBS covers. That's what you get. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
The way that Malin puts out Born, once the campaign's over, you close it. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like how Malin does that, actually.
Yeah,
it makes it a collector's item when you do that. So it's good for the collectors. I like that.
That's the thing, man. Like, people are saying, oh, you get a whole bunch and sell more on the secondary market. It's like, that's kind of not fair, isn't it? You got all these people that are sort of invested in me. There are probably people that bought extra copies so they could sell them secondhand. It's kind of a bit sort of a dick move of me to go like, this is a limited time on Indiegogo. Buy Xenotype today. Also, you can buy it for the rest of the year. It's all good. It's just have it, Like, I sort of want the customer to be able to sort of go, hey, look, I got this one. I'll sell it to someone who didn't get it, and that'll pay for my copy. And so I'm sort of recouped for investing in Liam and Conquest, because customer first, brother. Customer first.
Yeah, so that was that. Like, did you guys hear him pounding on Ethan there and saying what Ethan did is a dick move? It's just ridiculous. No, Liam is talking about.
He actually spoke positively about him at the very beginning of the clip. He says, you get the cover, boom, it's gone. And then he mentioned Malin right after that.
Oh, there you go. And this is Liam talking about Liam's own campaign and how he has promoted his own campaign, and and how he said, this is exclusive. He's actually always been pretty against the in-demand thing, and he's been, he hasn't been 100% on it, because it is a lot of money to give up for that exclusivity. So he's, and this is his first time. So, but this is his campaign. He's allowed to do whatever the hell he wants in his first campaign, and he's got his own opinions, and it's fine. And it's just so typical of these dudes. It just seems to be so like I said, the modus operandi of these guys. You can look at Ethan's tweet. You can believe me or the citrus fruit in a hoodie, and think that Ethan is like actually insulting Liam there, and it's not just these guys playing the game of promoting, CG, and we're like dudes who rib at each other. We take little pot shots. We have fun. This is how guys talk to each other, who are friendly. Who's the person you hang the most shit on? It's your best friend. And
Exactly.
I just have a feeling like these guys, like Preston and that, they never had those relationships or something, maybe, because they always seem to think every single thing, oh, this is a massive, like, oh, they're turning on each other now, even when it's just friendly banter.
Well, that if I were closer with Liam, I would, and let's say in the future, if two hypotheticals at once, one, I'm closer with Liam, and then two, in the future, he says, oh, you know what, I really should be doing it the other way, and he has reasons to change his mind, I would definitely be teasing him all to hell about that. And, if as a customer, if I'm amicable with him doing what he thinks his customer needs or wants, and, we meet, then I'm still his customer.
The great thing about CG, like I said earlier, is that every project and every creator has the flexibility and can be nimble with their business model based on that individual project. And it may, like with Zach, he's managing like 5 different campaigns at once, or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
One tactic may work differently for Pandemic that may not work for Jawbreakers, considering that's his mainline comic. So I think even within the same creative team, based on title, it could be a difference of model as well. So you really, but thankfully we're in such a kind of organic environment here, is that every creator has that flexibility to kind of judge the ground and see what it's like and say, okay, this is the route I want to go.
Now, on that note of never again, and did Ethan ever say never again? I think he has said never again regarding a cover, especially the Salamandroid cover. And I think he has said never again about Blood Honey in this form. And that's
but as well, Ethan sells that Salamandroid cover at an inflated price here. He sells it $10 more expensive than what he was selling it with all the bells and whistles in the campaign. So you got all the bells and whistles and the book for $25. Now you just get the book for $35 on eBay.
Yes.
That's my understanding. And CG World Order says, how do you go about striking a balance between customer first and making money for your business? Well, I don't know if it necessarily needs to be like set against each other. Like, just be honest. So, don't say one thing and then do another. I think that as long as you can,
in trouble.
Yeah, as long as you can do that, then you should be fine. Like, so what have I said in my campaign? I've said everyone who backed on first day gets a sketch card, free sketch card. So that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you bought a tier that comes with a sketch card, now you're going to get 2 sketch cards because you get the free sketch card. So now what have I also said? I've said I've unlocked a stretch goal. Everyone in the campaign gets a poster print. So everyone gets that. That's what I've said. I haven't really confirmed too much else, other than the book. You'll be receiving a book when it's fulfilled, and but this is the sort of stuff that I'm still figuring out. But if Liam has said, this is my big push, this is my big campaign, he has sort of talked about exclusivity, this Indiegogo campaign, get it now or you're going to miss out, then from his point of view, and he'd be right, it would be a dick move to just open up a store later on and just sort of sell it indefinitely.
And I think it respects the initial backers when you don't go sell the leftovers at the same price, because they all took the initial risk, etc.
Yeah, that's why the Salamandroid being inflated is a good thing, as opposed to what some people may say. But touching on this point real quick to wrap it up, I used to work in retail for a particular chain that's pretty popular here in the Southeast, and their philosophy was that those two things were not mutually exclusive, like doing good business and taking care of your customers. As a matter of fact, everything we did revolved around taking care of the customers, so we retain them. Even if we took a minor loss in the short term, we knew we'd retain them in the long term because we took care of them that day. So even if they were wrong about something like a price or something like that, we'd go ahead and fix it for them and everything like that. And then they would come back because they said, oh, if we go back to this store, we know we're going to get taken care of. So those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive at all.
Yep. And to answer CG World Order, his clarification. Well, all I know is for me, I'm just looking at this like a book, first edition. So I'll be doing a first edition print. It'll be based on how many I sell during the campaign, during the period that it's live, and I will be printing more than that, so probably double, and then that'll be the first edition books. And it'll say first edition on it. It'll have that cover on it. As if I get to the stretch goal with the UV gloss, it'll have that UV gloss on it, and that's the only time you'll ever be able to get it. But I will be selling them most likely. Either if it's in demand or if it's on my second campaign, and I kind of go back and buy the first book, whatever's left. But once that sells out, then that's sold out. You can no longer get the first edition from me. You'll have to get it on the secondary market from previous customers. I want to show a couple of things if I can. Let's have a look here. That's the one, I think.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. See Devilfish, some familiar faces, a lot of new ones.
Yeah. Thanks
Our
so
buddy
much, guys.
Shane.
This is amazing. The number of people we've got here. Like, I watch a lot of streams with small channels, and the numbers that we're pulling here is insane. So thank you so much for coming. This means so much to me and the guys here. This is I know about you guys, but I'm having a blast here.
Yeah,
chatting with all you.
Extremely flattered to be with you all.
So I sent this out last night. I've done it. I've cut a friggin' 25-minute Ethan Van Scarver rant on the demise of the comic book industry down to under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. No messing with what was said, no watering down, just pure distilled comic artist pro secrets. This one's gonna be good. I played it to my wife last night. I was really worried because I've had 2 big hits now. I've got that thing like, oh, I don't want to make a crap one now. Both of them have had over 20,000 views on Twitter. I don't want to put out something bad. And so, yeah, I felt a bit of pressure. And I knew there was gold in these damn hills that Ethan had, but it was 25 minutes long. And I just did, like, how am I going to cut that down and still maintain what he was saying? But I did it last night. I played it to my wife, and she laughed out loud just from the audio. Like,
Great.
literal laughs, not just a lull. She laughed. So yeah, that's a good sign. And I guess I got to get working on this as well in my other spare time that I don't have, but I'll get it done. So that was popular. What else happened here? I got to get rid of this because I still haven't worked out how to share my stupid Chrome screen. So I've got to do this all tab by tab.
Wiggle wants you to play it, Michael. He's ready. His body is ready.
Oh, play the audio? No way. You'll hear it when you see the cartoon. Who in Comicsgate would be interested in hearing myself and the maestro Camel Moon Art talk about animation and campaigning later too? Because Camel Moon has a new campaign. I don't know if you guys know. So I'm going to have him on my channel. I think it's going to be Friday. So yeah, he's going to come on. I don't know exactly the time, but we'll figure that out and we'll get that to you ASAP. So that's going to be cool. We're going to have a cool chat. I consider Camel Moon as like a real illustrator. I'm a fake illustrator. He's a real illustrator. So it's going to be interesting. And yeah. That's cool. That's something to look forward to. So make sure you have the notifications on, guys, so that you can see when that's happening. I'll tweet about it as well, of course. Where is the other one? What's my other? Sure, I had another one going. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just going to talk about it. What I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do my best. I can't promise it because you never know how long this stuff is going to take. Sometimes you run into issues. The animation doesn't work out as well. Yeah, it's a cartoon. Did I not make myself clear? I'm kind of really trying to babble here because I need to close up the stream. Yeah, this audio is going to be made into a cartoon like the same ones that you've seen on my channel. If you haven't seen them, go to my channel, check them out. They're like 2 minutes long. It's Ethan talking in a cartoon form, and then I kind of pop in little funny characters along the way. They're really cool. And yeah, so I've got a little clip. There's a little extra funny clip in this audio that I've got. I'm going to try and get that animated and play that live on the stream when I'm talking to Camel Moon. So I feel like I'm not sort of a fish out of water there. But Yeah. Thanks so much for coming, guys. This is a really cool discussion. We didn't know what we were going to talk about until about 20 minutes beforehand, and it ended up being really good.
Yep.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah. So as long as I don't know when this coronavirus thing is going to end and people are going to come back to my office, and I don't know. I'll have to figure something out then. I might have to like run home and stream from home. And so we'll see. But yeah, I'll keep doing this as long as you guys keep turning up. 51 people. This is like, you guys have no idea how amazing this is for me to see this. It's just so cool. And I would be silly not to say The Lucent. If you haven't backed it already, check it out. Watch the trailer, read through the stuff, look at the art. It's all there. Look at this 10K stretch goal. This needs to happen. This absolutely needs to happen. And we need, we've got time. We've got plenty of time to get it done. So I know CG has already come through for me already in a massive way, but just a little bit more to
Michael,
get that
Eric
stretch
Weathers
goal.
is here.
Oh, no shit. Eric. Hey, how you going? Love Eric Weathers. Yeah, man, but it's only an hour long, so you can go back and watch it. This is a really good discussion. We talked about the different business models, the different approaches that people have to their campaigns. So you might get a lot out of it if you're just kind of drawing or doing your, working on your book or your letters or whatever. Go back and have a listen to, because it was really cool. But yeah, just finishing up, back the Lucent, back all Comicsgate projects. Whichever ones that you like, whether they're going to be going into in demand or whether they're going to be exclusive, it's all good. We've got a great thing going here, and I will most likely see you tomorrow. See you guys.
See you.
See you, Michael. See you, chat.
Cheers.
Hail the chat.
Hail chat. Hail Comicsgate. See you guys.